Hello students, myself Bafna ma'am. Today we will be continuing the video of law of partnership. Last class we had dealt about rights and duties of the partners towards other partners and liabilities of the partnership. Today we will be taking about admission, retirement, expulsion of the partner and their liabilities and dissolution of the partnership firm. Okay? Yes. So, what is the admission and retirement? So, admission and the retirement, expulsion of the partnership and their liabilities. Here, the process of admission and the expulsion of the partner from the firm change the ratio of respective interest of the partners. See here, what is the process of admission, retirement, and expulsion of the partner from the firm that will change the ratio of respective interest of the partners? See what it happens, what is the result here is in the reconstitution of the firm concerned, the reconstitution of the partnership firm may take place in the following ways. See, if you want your partnership firm to be reconstituted, see what are the following ways? Admission of a partner. See, if a new partner can be admitted, a new partner can be admitted into partnership firm if all the partners give their consent to such admission. As the relationship of the partners is presumed to be one of the trust and confidence, only the trusted person or persons in whom all partners have confidence can be admitted to the partnership firm. So this provision in this regard is laid down in section 31. Section 31 क्या कहता है? Admission of the partners. See, if the admission of the partners कब हो सकता है? जब दूसरे partners उसको सहमति दे कि भाई ये अदर पार्टनर उसका इट इज़ बीन प्रिज्यूम दैट वन ऑफ द पार्टनर इट इज़ बीन प्रिज्यूम टू बी वन ऑफ द ट्रस्ट एंड कॉन्फिडेंस, यानी द रिलेशनशिप ऑफ द पार्टनर का क्या होता है कि ट्रस्ट एंड कॉन्फिडेंस है पर्सन में, तभी उसको एडमिशन दिया जाता है पार्टनरशिप फर्म में. ओके, सो नाउ इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ ए पार्टनर, यहाँ पे इंट्रोडक्शन दिया है पार्टनर का है. सेक्शन 30 क्या कहता है? द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स. So, no person shall be introduced as a partner into a firm without the consent of all the existing partners. यहाँ पे पार्टनर को अंदर पार्टनरशिप फर्म में एक पार्टनर को एंट्री कब दी जा सकती है? जब तक दूसरे पार्टनर्स जो रहते हैं उनकी सहमति नहीं मिलती तब तक उसको पार्टनरशिप में एंट्री नहीं दी जा सकती है. देयर शुड बी अ कंसेंट ऑफ ऑल द एग्जिस्टिंग पार्टनर्स and subject to the provision of section 30. See, a person who is introduced as a partner into a firm does not thereby become liable for any act of the firm done before he becomes a partner. जैसे कि आज मैंने पार्टनरशिप फर्म में मेरा एडमिशन हुआ, लेकिन कल तक जो पार्टनरशिप फर्म में जो हुआ है, आई विल नॉट बी पर्सनली लायबल फॉर द एक्ट conducted by any partner. Okay, so the above provision makes it clear that the consent of all partners is required at the time of admission of a new partner. न्यू पार्टनर को एडमिट किया है फर्म में तो कंसेंट होना जरूरी है ऑल अदर पार्टनर्स का. So such consent is not necessary in the following two circumstances. So it is not necessary in the following two circumstances where there is a contract between the partners to the contrary. यहाँ पे ये बोला गया है. However, such consent is not necessary. एक कंसेंट यहाँ पे नेसेसरी नहीं है वेयर देर इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स टू द कॉन्ट्ररी, यानी अभी उसमें पार्टनर्स का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है तो उसमें कंसेंट होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. वेयर ए माइनर एक्सरसाइजेज एन ऑप्शन टू बिकम ए पार्टनर ऑन अटेनिंग मेजॉरिटी. See, when a minor is exercising an option to become a partner on attaining majority, but if the agreement among the partners gives right to disallow a minor from becoming a full partner, then in such a case the partner may exercise this right as per the terms of agreement. See, when minor exercise an option to become a partner on attaining majority, but if agreement among the partners give right to disallow a minor from becoming a full partner, then in such a case the partner may exercise this right as per टर्म्स ऑफ द अग्रीमेंट. यहाँ पे माइनर को एक्सरसाइज दिया गया है कि आफ्टर अटेनिंग मेजोरिटी अगर अग्रीमेंट है अमंग द पार्टनर्स कि भाई ही इज गिवन राइट टू डिसअलो ए माइनर फ्रॉम बिकमिंग a full partner, then in such a case the partners may exercise this right as per the terms of agreement. क्या agreement के हिसाब से उसको लेना है कि नहीं लेना है वो existing partner के ऊपर होगा. Okay, so in the above provision section 30 is also referred here. See, it would be appropriate here to give certain aspect of section 13 since it deals with the admission of a minor as a partner to the benefit of a partnership firm. So what does it deals with the admission of a minor as a partner? What are the benefits of a partnership firm? See, next here we will see position of a minor in a partnership. What is the position of a minor in a partnership? A minor cannot become a partner, but he can be admitted to the benefits of the partnership firm with the consent of all other partners. First point. And second point is, at the time of such admission of a minor for this benefit, a firm must be in existence. So otherwise partnership with a new minor cannot be formed. Third point is here, a minor has a right to share property and profit in the firm in the agreed proportion. Okay. Fourth point is, a minor share is liable for the act of the firm. See, minor share is liable for the act of the firm, but a minor is not personally liable for any such act. Okay. And fifth point is, a minor has a right to exercise the option to live or remain in the partnership firm on attaining age of majority. See, the position of the partnership in a minor. He cannot become a partner, but he can be admitted to the benefits of the partner. First is, and at the time of admission of a minor for his benefit, a firm must be in existence. A minor has right to share property and profits of the firm. And fourth is, a minor share is liable for the act of the firm, and the minor has a right to exercise his option. He will be given an option whether he wants to leave or wants to remain in the partnership firm. Okay. So next, when the minor elects to become a partner, what does it happen when a minor elects to become a partner? If he wants to become a partner, he becomes personally liable to the third parties for all the acts of the firm. That is from the date of his admission to benefits. Okay. So, when he wants to become a partner, he is entitled to get the same share in the profit of the firm as he used to get as a minor. Okay. So, when he becomes a partner, when he elects to become a partner. Okay. So, next, when the minor elects not to become a partner. See, what happens when the minor elects not to become a partner? If he does not want to become a partner, his liability for the acts of the firm, just like a minor, continues up to the time of the existence with the firm. Okay, his liability for the act of the firm, just like a minor, continues up to the time of his existence with the firm. And second, his share will not be liable for any act of the firm after the date of the notice. After the date of the notice that minor elects not to become a partner, his share will not be liable. And if after becoming a major but before electing to become a partner, the minor represent or knowingly permits himself to be represented as a partner in the firm, he will be personally liable on the grounds of holding out to anyone who has on faith of such representation granted credit to the firm. Okay. See, after becoming a major but before electing to become a partner, the minor, now he is a major and he represent or knowingly permits himself to be represented as a partner in the firm, he will be personally liable. No, he knows, he is knowing, and he is permitting himself and he is representing himself as a partner to the firm. He will be personally liable, वो personally liable होगा क्योंकि अभी वो represent कर रहा है कि भाई मैं partner हूँ करके, on the grounds of holding out, he is representing to anyone who has on the faith of such representation granted credit to the firm. Okay. Now, what is the liability of incoming partner? The liability of incoming partner, Section 31 of the Act makes it clear that a person who is admitted as a partner into a firm does not become liable for any act of the firm. See, if a person who is admitted as a partner into a firm does not become liable for any act of the firm done before he became a partner. So, in other words, he can tell the liability of a new partner will commence from the date on which he is admitted of the firm. See, it's already clear that जिस दिन से आप फर्म में ज्वाइन करते हो उसी दिन से आपकी लायबिलिटी चालू हो जाती है, उसके पहले आपकी लायबिलिटी नहीं है. उसके पहले जो एक्ट किया है किसी अदर पार्टनर ने, तो यू विल नॉट बी हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल. सो ही कैन नॉट बी हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डेट्स. जो पहले का जो एक दिन पहले का जो भी कोई भी डेट्स है, यू विल नॉट बी हेल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल. हाउ ओवर द न्यू पार्टनर में अग्री विथ हिज पार्टनर टू बी लायबल फॉर द एग्जिस्टिंग डेट ऑफ द फर्म. अगर आप अग्री करते हो कि मैं एग्जिस्टिंग डेट्स का आई विल बी लाइबल, then the permission will be granted. But such an agreement is binding only among the partners and it does not create any right to any creditors to file a suit against a new partner for the past debts. Okay. तो अभी अग्रीमेंट जो हुआ है न्यू पार्टनर का कि भाई तो बाहर के जो थर्ड पार्टी है तो वो बोल नहीं सकता है कि भाई न्यू पार्टनर विल बी हेल्ड लायबल फॉर द past debts. For the purpose of holding a new partner liable to the creditors for the debts incurred prior to his admission, a complete de novo agreement will be required. यानी अभी नया पार्टनर को पास्ट डेट्स के लिए लायबल करना है तो एक न्यू अग्रीमेंट, डी नोवा अग्रीमेंट विल बी रिक्वायर्ड. ये अग्रीमेंट रिक्वायर होगा. So this is possible by complying two things. The new partner or the newly constituted firm must have assumed liability for the past debts. Okay. That is the new partner, and the creditor must be given information regarding the new arrangement, and then the new partner becomes liable to those of the creditors who have accepted the new agreement. यानी अभी नया पार्टनर ने एग्रीमेंट साइन किया है कि भाई जो भी कुछ भी डेट्स है जो भी है वो ही विल बी हेल्ड लायबल. तो एक अग्रीमेंट किया जाएगा, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डी नोवा अग्रीमेंट. और उसमें क्रेडिटर्स है जो है उनको कहा जाएगा कि ये अग्रीमेंट हुआ है. सो द न्यू पार्टनर विल बी लायबल फॉर दोज क्रेडिटर्स. तो न्यू पार्टनर लायबल होगा कि भाई जो पास्ट डेट्स है तो न्यू पार्टनर विल बी हेल्ड लायबल. ओके. who have accepted this new agreement. So this agreement may be express or implied. तो एग्रीमेंट यानी एक्सप्रेस भी हो सकता है, इम्प्लाइड भी हो सकता है. इन शॉर्ट वी कैन से दैट ए न्यू पार्टनर कैन बी हेल्ड लायबल इफ ही हैज अज्यूम्ड लायबिलिटी एंड द क्रेडिटर्स हैव एक्सेप्टेड हिम एज ए डेटर. ओके. सो क्रेडिटर्स ने भी एक्सेप्ट किया है कि भाई अभी ये हमारा जो भी कोई लेना देना है ये नया पार्टनर चुकाएगा करके. And what are the retirements of a partner? Now we will see what are the retirements of a partner. A partner is said to retire when he ceases to be a partner of the firm and the remaining partners continues to carry on the business of the firm. See, what are the modes of the retirement? Now, what are the modes of the retirement? By consent. A partner may retire at any time with the consent of all the other partners. पार्टनर कभी भी रिटायर कर सकता है बट द कंसेंट ऑफ ऑल अदर पार्टनर्स इज नेसेसरी. बाय द एक्सप्रेस एग्रीमेंट ए पार्टनर मे रिटायर इन अकॉर्डेंस विथ एन एक्सप्रेस एग्रीमेंट रीच्ड बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स. से अगर मैं पार्टनर हूँ तो अगर मुझे रिटायर करना है, मुझे रिटायरमेंट चाहिए, तो एक्सप्रेस एग्रीमेंट इट शुड बी रीच्ड बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स। एक्सप्रेस, मुझे एक्सप्रेस करना पड़ेगा कि भाई मुझे रिटायर करना है, मुझे रिटायरमेंट चाहिए, तो आई हैव टू एक्सप्रेस दिस बिटवीन द पार्टनर्स। ओके, the third point is by notice. If I want to retire, I want to cease in the partner. If I want to cease now, अगर मैं पार्टनर हूँ, I want to retire in the case of a partnership at a will, अगर मेरी मर्जी से मुझे पार्टनरशिप फर्म छोड़ना है, by giving notice in writing to all other partners of his intention to retire, मेरा इंटेंशन मुझे बताना पड़ेगा। I have to give the notice in writing to all other partners. Okay, so however, retirement by this way is not possible in the case of a particular partnership. पर्टिकुलर पार्टनरशिप में ये रिटायरमेंट is not possible in this case. Okay, partnership at a will, in the case of a partnership at a will, I can give the notice in writing, but in the case of a partnership, particular partnership, this is not possible. Okay, now we will see what are the consequences of a partner retirement. See, in consequences of a retirement, when one partner retires, the other remaining partner can continue with the business, okay, of the firm. But if partnership consists of only two partners, then the retirement of one partner would inevitably result in the dissolution of a partnership firm. अगर पार्टनरशिप फर्म में दो ही इंसान है और उस दो इंसान में से एक पार्टनर बोलता है कि भाई मुझे आपके पार्टनरशिप फर्म से अभी निकलना है, तो एक पार्टनर है तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो पार्टनरशिप फर्म डिसोल्यूशन हो जाता है, वो पार्टनरशिप नहीं कहलाया जाएगा, क्योंकि उसमें एसेंशियल एलिमेंट्स क्या है, एटलीस्ट टू पार्टनर्स आर रिक्वायर्ड. सो ए रिटायरिंग पार्टनर हैज अ राइट टू क्लेम हिज शेयर हियर in both the assets and the profits of the firm till the date of his retirement. So in order to avoid disputes, it is always better to execute a retirement deed in writing for the final settlement of the accounts. Okay, so it's better to execute a retirement deed. और retirement deed करते हैं तो in writing, it should be in writing for the final settlements of the accounts. So the one partner who wants to retire, he has to write a notice for the retirement, and he can claim his share both in assets and the profit. So in order to avoid these disputes, so it's better to execute a retirement deed in writing for the final settlements of the account. Okay. So what is the next notice of the retirement? A notice of the retirement in the case of the registered firm, the retiring partner has to give a notice of retirement. So he has to give the notice देना पड़ता है partners को. The registrar of the firm in the prescribed form along with the prescribed fee. So अगर वो registered firm है तो it has to be the registrar of the firm in the prescribed form along with the prescribed fee, yani in the case of a registered firm hai, the retiring partner has to give a notice of retirement to registrar of the firm in the prescribed form along with the prescribed fee in the official gazette and in at least one vernacular newspaper circulating in the district where the firm has its principal place of the business. यहाँ पे रजिस्ट्रार फर्म में जाके प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फॉर्म में फी पे करके उसमें लिखना पड़ेगा कि भाई अभी नोटिस देना है कि नो ही सीजेस टू बी ए पार्टनर, और ऑफिशियल गेजेट में भी दिखाना पड़ेगा, एंड और एक वर्नाक्युलर यानी लोकल न्यूज़पेपर में सर्कुलेट करना पड़ेगा कि भाई वेयर द फर्म हैज़ इट्स प्रिंसिपल प्लेस ऑफ द बिजनेस, यानी न्यूज़पेपर में सर्कुलेटिंग इन द डिस्ट्रिक्ट, यानी उस न्यूज़पेपर में पूरे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट एरिया है उसमें सर्कुलेट करना पड़ेगा कि भाई ये फर्म का प्रिंसिपल प्लेस जो बिजनेस है. So on the other hand, in the case of an unregistered partnership firm, the fact of the retirement is required to be published. यानी रिटायरमेंट जो है तो वो पब्लिश तो करना ही पड़ेगा, एंड एटलीस्ट न्यूज़पेपर में जो ऑफिशियल गैजेट है वहाँ पे जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट है सबको मालूम पड़ जाए कि नो ही सीजेस टू बी ए पार्टनर, यानी इसका रिटायरमेंट हो गया है. ओके, तो सेक्शन 32 एंड 72 है यहाँ पे. सो व्हाट इज द लायबिलिटी ऑफ ए रिटायर्ड पार्टनर? The liability of a retired partner. See, the liability for the act done up to the date of the retirement. See, whatever the act it is done up to the date of the retirement, as a general rule, एक general rule है, a retired partner continues to be liable to the creditors for the act of the firm डन बिफोर एंड अप टू द डेट ऑफ हिज रिटायरमेंट. एक जनरल रूल रहता है कि जब पार्टनर कंटिन्यू है उसके तो क्रेडिटर, so the partner continues to be liable to the creditors whatever the act of the firm done before and up to the date of his retirement. Okay, it is a general rule. So however a retiring partner may be discharged from his liability to any third party by an agreement with the third party's creditor and the partners of a reconstituted firm, whereby the partner of the reconstituted firm undertake all the liabilities of the firm. So such an agreement may be either express or implied from a course of dealing. So when a creditor continues a deal with a reconstituted firm even after he has knowledge of the retirement, there is an implied agreement to discharge the retired partner of his liability. यहाँ पे क्या बोला है कि लायबिलिटी ऑफ द एक्ट डन अप टू द डेट ऑफ रिटायरमेंट. अभी मैं पार्टनर हूँ, कोई भी एक पार्टनर है तो उसको अभी आज रिटायरमेंट करना है, आज उसको रिटायरमेंट चाहिए, तो जो भी पहले जो एक्ट किया है ही विल बी डिस्चार्ज फ्रॉम ऑल दोज लायबिलिटीज. उसको डिस्चार्ज किया जाता है फर्म से और दूसरे पार्टनर से. तो पार्टनरशिप फर्म में जितने और दूसरे पार्टनर से आज से वो लायबल होंगे व्हाट एवर द एक्ट्स विल बी डन इन द फ्यूचर. तो अभी आगे से जो रिटायरिंग पार्टनर है वो लायबल नहीं होगा. तो यहाँ पे खास एक पॉइंट कहा गया है, तो इफ़ द रिमेनिंग पार्टनर अग्रीज टू डिस्चार्ज द रिटायर पार्टनर, अभी जो रिमेनिंग पार्टनर है वो अग्री करते हैं कि भाई इसको डिस्चार्ज करते हैं पार्टनरशिप फर्म से फ्रॉम हिज लायबिलिटी से, बट द क्रेडिटर डज नॉट रिलीज हिम. See, if here the creditor is not releasing him, the outgoing partner will remain liable to the creditors. Okay? यहाँ पे खुला बोला है द आउटगोइंग पार्टनर्स यानी जो रिटायरिंग पार्टनर्स है ही विल रिमेन लायबल टू द क्रेडिटर्स. ओके, यहाँ पे सो द मेन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इट शुड बी नोटेड. ऑल अदर पार्टनर्स विल सब पार्टनर्स अग्री कर लेंगे कि भाई रिटायरिंग पार्टनर्स ही विल नॉट बी लायबल, बट द क्रेडिटर he will not release him, outgoing partner, then he will remain liable to the creditor. Okay, so next point is liability for the act done after the date of retirement. See, whatever the liability for the act done after the date of the retirement, section 32 of subclause 3 of the act, it tells a public notice of the retirement must be given for the act done after the date of the retirement. See, public notice of the retirement must be given. If the public notice is given, then the retired partner will not be liable for any act of the firm done after his retirement. Okay, so such a notice may be given either by outgoing partner himself or by the firm or by a partner. Okay, so however, if such notice is not given, the retired partner will remain liable for the act of the firm done even after his retirement. See, if he is not giving the notice and he is not telling anybody that from today I ceases to be a partner, then he will remain liable for the act of the firm. So it's better to give the notice. So the outsider may continue to believe that he is the partner and the firm will be liable for the act of the retired partner. So if any done by him as the partner of the firm, यहाँ पे खुला बोला है the retired partner will remain liable for the act of the firm. If such notice is not given, he will be held liable for the firm, and outsider will not come to know that you are not a partner. So the whatever the act of the firm is going on, you will be personally held liable for it. So, however, it should be kept in the mind that a dormant partner, that is a sleeping partner, who does not participate actively in the operations of the firm business and is not known as a partner to the outsider on the retirement from the firm, is not liable for the act of the firm done after his retirement, even if a public notice of the retirement is not given. The reason is that no one knew that he is a partner in the given firm. The sleeping partner who does not participate actively and is not known as a partner to the outsider of the firm is not liable for the act of the firm done after his retirement. यहाँ पे खुला ये भी बोलेंगे जो स्लीपिंग पार्टनर है, आउटसाइडर को मालूम नहीं है, तो it is better to give the retirement notice to the firm. So from today he will not be held liable. So public notice of the retirement is not given, and the reason is that no one knew that he is a partner. If he does not give any notice, so there is no problem, because he is already a sleeping partner and outsider does not know also that he is a partner. So here it is not necessary. The notice, public notice is not necessary here. So next is, I'm really sorry, I have told here that sleeping partner notice नहीं देगा तो चलेगा करके, लेकिन even he has to give the notice, because the other partners have to show that he is not a partner, though outsider does not know that a sleeping partner is not an active partner. So he has to give the notice, otherwise he will be held liable for the whatever the act it is been done by the firm. So a sleeping partner also has to give a notice. Okay. Now we will see what are the rights of a retired partner. Right to carry on a competing business. So the person who is a retired partner, what are the rights here? Now he can carry on a business. So retired partner is entitled to carry on any business competing with that of a firm in question. He may advertise his business and attract customers. However, the interest of the firm is also required to be protected. So now he is carrying the same business, so he has to see the interest that the firm is also required to be protected. With this intention, the following restriction have been imposed upon the freedom of the trade and commerce of the retired partner. That is, he cannot use the name of the former's firm. Now he is doing a competing business, but once some measures have to be taken to protect the firm. Now he cannot use the name of the former firm. He should not represent that he is carrying on the business of the former firm. He should not tell that he is carrying the business of the former firm. He should not solicit the customer or person who were dealing with the former firm before he ceases to be a partner. No, he should not tell that the customer or a person who are dealing with the firm, but now he ceases to be a partner. He should not tell that I belong to that firm, or any of these rights can be given to the retired partner only by an agreement between him and the continuing partner. See, these rights can be given to the retired partner only by an agreement. See, if there is an agreement if these rights have been given to the retired partner, then that particular agreement should be there for the continuing partner. Okay. So next point is, an agreement in restraint of trade is permitted. See, a partner may make an agreement with his partner that after retiring from the firm, he will not carry on any business similar to that of given firm of which he was a partner. Okay, he will not carry on any business similar to that of firm within a specified period or within a specified local limit, and such agreement shall be valid if the restriction imposed are reasonable. If the restrictions are unreasonable, then the agreement will become void under section 27 of the Indian Contract Act. An agreement in restraint of the trade is permitted. A partner may make an agreement with his partner that after retiring from the firm, he will not carry on any business. He will not carry on any business similar to the given firm. एक पार्टनर है ना जो बिजनेस करता है आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट, he has to tell in agreement, he has to make an agreement that he will not carry ये सिमिलर बिजनेस वो कैरी नहीं करेगा जो फर्म का है वे तभी जो वो पार्टनर था, बट ही विल कैरी ऑन ए बिजनेस सिमिलर बिजनेस ऑफ द फर्म इन ए स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड विद इन ए स्पेसिफाइड लोकल लिमिट. कि भाई ये अगर उसको करना ही है बिजनेस तो वो एक स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड तक ही करेगा और स्पेसिफाइड लोकल लिमिट तक ही करेगा, तो तब तक वो अग्रीमेंट वैलिड है. बट अभी कुछ रेस्ट्रिक्शन विच आर नॉट रीजनेबल, अगर रेस्ट्रिक्शन कुछ रीजनेबल है तब तक तो वो वैलिड है. अभी कुछ रेस्ट्रिक्शन विच आर इम्पोज्ड आर अनरीजनेबल, देन that agreement will become void. If restrictions are unreasonable, then that agreement will become void under section 27 of Indian Contract Act. Okay, so second point, these are the second point, and third point is here. Right to share subsequent profit. Right to share subsequent profit. A retiring partner has a right to share in profit of a given firm where his account has not been finally settled by the continuing partner. The retired partner, as his option, can claim such a share in the profit made since he ceased to be a partner, as may be attributable to the use of his share in the property of the firm. See here, right to share subsequent profit. Now a retiring partner has a right to share in subsequent profit. उसको पूरा right है कि he can share the profit from the firm where his account has not been finally settled. अभी अकाउंट फाइनल सेटल्ड हुआ नहीं है, तो such share in the profit made since he ceased to be a partner, as may be attributable to the use of his share in the property of the firm. The interest at the rate of 6% per annum on the amount of his share in the property of the firm. However, the partnership deed may contain a provision that existing partner will have the option to purchase the interest of the deceased or outgoing partner. If they exercise such option and pay the amount to the retiring partner or representative of the deceased partner, then he has no right to receive any further share in the profit. See, if the existing partner do not pay the necessary amount, they are liable to be accountable to the retiring partner or representative of deceased partner. Okay. The third point is expulsion of a partner. Generally, what it happens, a partner may be expelled, yani he can be thrown out only when all other partners unanimously agree to it. See, the expelled here, the partner may be expelled, and it has to be exercised in a good faith, and the power of the expulsion must be used in a good faith and in the interest of the firm. So the partnership deed must contain specific provision as regarding to the power of expulsion. If you want to expel any partner, there should be a certain provision and it should be used in a good faith and it should be in the interest of the firm. And the partner is not properly expelled, or if the expulsion is unwarranted and it is done by the way of abuse of power, if any partner is abusing the power or is misutilizing the power, then the expelled partner would be reinstated to his former position. So he is a partner in the same position. So a partner who is properly expelled, yani he is properly expelled in the same position as that of a retired partner, then a public notice of expulsion must be given as in the manner as the retired partner public notice is given. So some public notice should be given by the firm. And in absence of the such public notice, the firm and the expelled partner shall continue to be the liable for the act of the one another. अगर पब्लिक नोटिस नहीं दिया है एक्सपेल्ड पार्टनर ने, उसको जो पार्टनर्स को निकाला है, और फर्म ने भी नोटिस नहीं दिया है पब्लिक नोटिस, या उन्होंने भी नहीं दिया है, तो then the firm and the partner will be held liable for the act of one another. Okay. So the right and liabilities of the expelled partner shall be the same as of the retired partner. So the fourth point is insolvency of a partner. See, a partner ceases to be a partner from the date of his adjudication as insolvent, whether or not the firm is thereby dissolved. See, whether or not the firm is thereby dissolved, the partner ceases to be a partner from the date of the adjudication. So the dissolution of the firm on the insolvency of the partner will not depend upon the agreement between the partners. Okay. Now, what is the liability of the insolvent partner? See, under the Partnership Act, if the specifically mentioned that the firm shall not be dissolved on the insolvency of any partner, so the estate of the insolvent partner should not be liable for any act of the firm, and the firm is not liable for any act of the insolvent done after the date of his insolvency. Okay. So after the date of his insolvency, the insolvent partner shall not be liable for any act of the firm. Okay. Now the fifth is the death of a partner. What happens? The death of the partner, whereby the virtue of a contract between the partner, a firm is not dissolved by the death of a partner. The estate of the deceased partner is not liable for any act of the firm done after his death. So here it may be noted that the rights and the limitation as prescribed for the retiring partner would also be applicable to the circumstances where a partner ceases to be a partner due to his death or expulsion or insolvency. Okay. So we have discussed about here the admission, retirement, expulsion of a partner and their liabilities. So we will be stopping this video here, and next video I will be taking about dissolution of a partnership firm.